This is Creative to Creative. Together, we deep dive into the creative and production processes of leading creatives, finding out what makes them tick, how they do what they do, and the challenges along the way. This is Creative to Creative, powered by Motion by Design. This episode, we talk to Sam Morton, combining his passions for art and dirt bike riding to create SKDA. 13 years later, his Adelaide-based company has gone from after-hours hobby to a global leader in their space. Sam is involved full-time in the company whilst juggling a new family and headspace alongside. Welcome, Sam from SKDA. So I think the interesting thing from a creative point of view is basically what I see your business at is as like the sort of unicorn of creative industries, right? Because what you've got is you've got a completely scalable creative business that's not reliant on service-based needs. So it's not an hour for money type situation. You're selling a product, it can be automated, it can be streamlined to the point where it's way more scalable than, hour for work type situation. Did you intentionally go out with that sort of field? Like, it seems very rare that, at the age of 18, you had this crazy idea and it all sort of evolved from there with the same core message and the same trajectory, or like what sort of deviations have you made over the past 13 years?
So nothing super, I've got a point to make that speaks to that. So nothing super broad, like the concept, which is, essentially what we're doing is designing the livery for dirt bikes and motorcycles, right? And obviously the vehicle for that is selling them as a sticker kit, some put in their bikes. That as a concept, as a product, as a business, concept was the same from word go, and it hasn't changed at all. I still see ourselves as the designing the livery. So if at some stage technology changes, it's no longer stickers, it's a different application, which is realistic, then I'll follow that. I don't care about stickers. I care about the design side of it. But the big shift that made it scalable. So when we started, which was, a long time ago, there was no one really in our space. Again, plenty of companies doing what we're doing, but there wasn't many in our space that were running with this scalable business model, in the fact that usually what would happen back then was you would get a customer hit you up with a specific idea and you would design something from scratch for that customer, sell it to them, including the design service at the time that it came with it, as a product with a price tag, and then save that file, put it away, and next customer you start from scratch again, right? Which was super, super time intensive and very not scalable, because it's very difficult to find, as we spoke about earlier, it's very difficult to find designers that can design bikes. So if you want to sell 10,000 kits a day, you need enough designers that are good to create 10,000 kits a day, which is mental, right? It just doesn't work. So we then, came up with the concept. Again, it existed. I didn't pioneer this thought, but it was at the sort of time where it became quite realistic and obvious in some forms that what you could do instead is have like a semi-custom range, right? So instead of it being from scratch every time, you have a range that's default set out. You've got a KDM and it's this model, for example, then we offer you these 50 different designs. And there's one that's really black and one that's really abstract and one that's arty and da-da-da-da-da-da. You pick your favorite one and then you customize that by just changing your name, number, and some logos and colors or whatever. And of course, what that does is you can have some extremely skilled product designers creating the 50 designs, but then to customize them and adjust them is not hard. As you said, we've automated most of it now. There's a couple of little things that are still done manually, but what that means is instead of one design being sold once and then saved and put away, these designs, we sell them thousands and thousands of times each. And we can have a product designer that creates 100 new designs over a year, spending 4 days on each design rather than a set period that needs ROI, and sell it 1 trillion times. And then the business can be scaled. I think it's absolutely no limit. You can sell 1 trillion a day or 5 a day, doesn't matter, right? The investment will get recouped from the design time, and the time spent on each job is really little. So we ran with that theory. And about the time we did so, and don't everyone know us, it was quite obvious. All the competitors, I don't claim that they followed us. It was just something that we all sort of came across the same theory at the same time due to the world of technology and online shopping that we were in. Yeah. And everyone sort of adapted to that. And now that is very much the normal. We still sell the one-off custom stuff, but it makes up not even 1% of our sales. It is all semi-custom, choose off the website, buy it, move it on. And that makes it, infinitely scalable.
So where's the sweet spot for you, coming from that initial thirst to want to have that unique item and then scaling into essentially a mass media production for these designs? Obviously, you can apply different numbers, names, and some slight tweaks and stuff. But do you still get your biggest kicks out of doing those once-off designs for, rockstar riders and stuff like that? Or
that's a wicked question. I've never been asked that before. I like that. Yeah, I understand that. Like, I don't like the fact our company motto is, and always has been, or tagline is, originality is everything, which speaks to me. Like, I'm all about that, right? Like, yeah, be unique, don't be the same as another person. And again, you're right. The business model has sort of caused that to be a little bit less accurate, right? Like, it's, the most popular designs are sold hundreds of times. So it's not quite the same. However, I think that within my own mind, that is trumped by the fact that then my most awesome work, my favorite work, my best work is now available to multiple people and purchased by multiple people and ran with pride by multiple people around the globe rather than just once. And I feel like that gives me more personal satisfaction, professional satisfaction than being one unique that's going to seen by the 45 people that the guy walks past.
Yeah. You're like the Banksy of motorbike stickers or motorbike signage. What's the more broad term here for it?
I don't know. I don't like any of those terms.
As you say, the sticker might evolve into the LED screens or something later on.
I'm all about it. Yeah,
motorcycle customization.
We rebranded ourselves at the start of the year very slightly from SKDA Moto Graphics and Seat Covers. We changed it to SKDA Moto Creative, because I see that as what we're doing. Like, we are designing the livery of the bike, the style of the bike. That's what we're doing. That's what we're proud about. That's what we want to run behind, not the sticker side of it. Just the product we're selling.
Stickers are stickers.
Yeah, exactly.
So on the idea of, you've got a team of creatives who are helping you do these unique things and obviously, helping the business scale. How do you keep, I guess, the team, the creative team, I guess, motivated, and how do you keep them engaged and enjoying the work?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's tricky, man. People management is so tricky, isn't it? It's never going to be a simple thing to manage. I think internally we have a pretty good work ethic within the whole team. Like, everybody works quite hard. Therefore, there's like an unspoken pressure almost for everyone to deal with life the same way, deal with the work the same way. Like, everyone's pushing hard, everyone's working as hard as they can, everyone's trying to get good results. And if that is the consensus in the room, then new people or different people with a different perspective can't help but either fit in or get out. There's no other option, because it's quite obvious if someone's dragging the chain. Everyone, you can just feel it, you can just see it in the room. So that's good. It's nice that it's built that way.
Do you think the culture stems from you in that regard?
I hope so. And I think that I try and keep myself extremely approachable to everybody. I don't want to hear about why you can't come to the meeting tomorrow. Obviously there's area managers to deal with simple stuff, but I try and make sure that I, speak to people on a very human level and ask them how they are and how's their cat and, stuff like that, to sort of keep it open. And what that then does is it helps them have the ability to constantly see my own perspective on the business and realize that, I've got this ridiculous passion and drive for what I'm doing, and they feed off that and want to be a part of that because it's an attractive thing to be involved with.
How engaging are you in terms of whether it's finances and business sort of trajectory and I guess performance review sort of stuff are you with your creative team?
Yep.
Do you sort of have open meetings and discuss, I guess, business sort of, business as a whole, I guess, not necessarily KPIs, but sort of forecasts and stuff like that, where you guys are heading as a company? How much of that as a creative team do they sort of all take part of?
We've got this, everyone's completely aware of our goal of becoming the, undeniably best, right? Which obviously not biggest, best. There's a difference. In order to become broadly known as the best, you need to be quite big so that you're seen, the brand awareness is there. But, that is our goal, and everybody is completely aware of that all the time. So there's never a, concern of what are we trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? That's unspoken. However, yes, we do still set, realistic strategies and update people on these things. I recently started doing an email, which I named Letter from the CEO, and I send that out. It's not properly, periodic yet, but I've sent, one a month so far in the last sort of 3 or 4 months, which is just sort of a bit of a top-down view on things from my perspective. I add things in there about updates about specific models that people need to be aware of, adjustments between the company's trajectory or projections for next year, and new equipment we've got on board or new people we've hired and what's cool about them, etc. Like try and give them a really personal perspective on things. And then outside of that, like you said, I just try and keep the door open. I try and keep really vocal and let people know what's going on and see where I'm coming from. It's not scripted too much more serious than that at this stage, but that seems to be enough to have everyone feel like there's some level of involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I guess you've got all these creative tools around you. Like obviously you're very time poor these days. Have you thought about using, the tools and tool sets for evil, for your own projects, sort of like bringing back some of your core creativeness back into your workplace somehow, whether it's, printing some crazy stuff for other, I guess, product expansion into different areas and stuff
Yeah, it's been thrown at me many times, and I have so far ensured that I don't diversify product-wise or industry-wise, because I think the reason that the company has seen the level of success that it has is because of my own personal passion, interest, and devotion to what I'm doing, and that would not be the same if I was doing anything else. So I obviously enjoy designing, and that can be applied elsewhere that I still enjoy, and I enjoy business, and I could apply that elsewhere. But I don't think that, in an alternate universe, I didn't land on this. Although I think those skill sets are still relevant and could be utilized, I don't think the level of devotion would have been applied to something else. Therefore, I've sort of intentionally not. Like we've tried other things. I did, we did a goggle range at some point. I tried to launch a brand doing that, and we did. I've dabbled in some stickers into some alternate sort of worlds, but I just don't put in the same level of commitment, and I don't think I will to anything. So I'm at the point now that I'm completely aware of that now. I'm not, hiding from that fact. So I'm just sort of cutting everything else out. I'm like, nah, this is it. This is what I'm focused on. And I don't think I'll do this forever. I'd like to think that at some point I'll change and do something different with my life. I like the theory of doing more than one thing with your time on the planet. But whilst I'm committed to this, I want to stay committed to this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've got, growth and money and good things happening as a result of this. So I don't see the need to diversify.
Yeah.